edition of Wrestling Sheet Radio. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com editor-in-chief, Ryan Satin, here with my former recap co-host, John Rocha. Welcome back.
How's it going? Thanks for having me back. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, Jamie had something going on tomorrow, and I also have something going on tomorrow, and I thought, you know what, let's just come in a day early. The people, they miss Rocha, and the banter between Rocha and I, so I want to give it to them when I can. So I figured we'd congregate here to talk about some of the top stories of the week, which will include some of the things that happened on Raw and SmackDown. But I first want to discuss these WWE releases that happened over the weekend. Yeah. Let's start with the I don't want to say the most surprising one, but the one that is the most interesting, and that's Luke Harper leaving WWE. Now, this has been a long time coming. He asked for his release in April. He made it public on social media saying that he just basically wasn't happy with his place in the company, that he felt like he wasn't being used correctly. This was because I believe, if I recall correctly at the time, he was going to be wrestling at Access WrestleMania weekend as opposed to at one of the WrestleMania events that are in front of
dark matches.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember it happened at the time, but they were not granting it. He stayed at home, and then they brought him back for a brief period of time over the summer when Rowan was feuding with Roman Reigns. Right. He had that brief a couple weeks, I believe. He was on the show. I think his last appearance was at one of the Crown Jewel events. Okay. I want to say in one of those Battle Royals or whatever. And now we're here. Yeah. It's December. The year's about to be over. They're getting close to WrestleMania again, which, if they had kept him going still kept him on the roster still for a full year after he asked for his release and barely used him, I do think it would have looked kind of badly on their part. I think it would have made them look kind of bad, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because he's been from the Wyatt family on. And a lot of people liked Luke as being the standout, possible spinoff guy. Not a lot of people thought Strowman was going to be the guy initially. Everybody thought Luke would spin out, and Luke, it was just injuries, other stuff going on, the Rowan and Harper pairing not always working 100%, the booking, all this kind of stuff. So I think there was a lot of effort there trying to make it work on both sides, and in the end, they just didn't have anything for him to do, and so to hold him for another year, or to hold him for a full year and only use him a month would have just been insane. And these guys, they love to work, man. That's what the thing is all about. Yeah, I know we always battle about whether it's money or not, but it's about these guys' desire to work. And I think now that they see AEW doing well, they see other federations, things of that nature, and the battle for money and paying. They're like, okay, I want to get back out there and just work, because you get soft staying on the sidelines. No matter how much you train, you get soft if you're not constantly doing it at the top level.
Yeah, I saw a video that Kenta, formerly known as Hideo Itami, posted on Instagram this week, where it spoke to what you were saying right there, where he was basically saying, I might have a little bit of it wrong here, but he basically said something along the lines of, when for WWE I was working about 2 times a month, maybe one time a month sometimes. He's like, for this World Tag League I just did, I wrestled 17 times in 1 month. This is what I want to be doing. Right. I want to be wrestling. I'm a wrestler. I want to show people what I can do in the ring. So it's awesome to be able to go out there and do that again. You know. And so absolutely, there are people like that who I do think. We just want to wrestle. Absolutely.
Plus, you're watching other people get the shine. Other people get in those moments.
I also think not quite on the level of Dean Ambrose, obviously, but I'm sure Luke Harper saved his money and made a good amount of money.
I hope so.
He was in one of the most, to me at least, one of the most noted factions in recent memory of WWE.
Absolutely.
There's the Shield and there's the Wyatt family.
Right.
And I think similar to when Dean Ambrose left WWE, now Jon Moxley, there was the question of, well, man, does that kind of wipe the Shield from WWE history, so to speak? When you're talking about Seth, is that not part of his journey anymore?
Right.
And obviously he didn't get Chris Benoit or something like that,
Right.
But in terms of storytelling, do you not mention the Shield now? Do you not mention the Wyatt family now that they're not all there?
Well, I feel like you have to, right? It's still history. It's still what happened. Just because they went off and did other things doesn't mean you don't still talk about it. Look, what we're going to talk about later, the NWO is getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. People still mention the NWO or mention the clique or wear the shirts to the stage. So to me, I'm like, I see what you're saying, but I can't imagine you'd want to erase it because that's part of the whole overall story and character
I'm not saying
arc.
fully erasing it, like obviously in documentaries, stuff like that, but I'm more so talking about, like, you don't really hear them. You're not going to hear them mentioning the Shield as much, I wouldn't think.
I thought someone used it in a promo against Seth recently.
Did they?
Like, we know about you leaving friends behind, or we know about you not sticking around. And
Okay,
it was
fair enough,
it was a
fair
shot
enough.
at Seth
All
about
right.
turning. I think it was in the last few weeks when he's
That sounds
doing
right, like
this-
when Kevin Owens
I think
stuff.
it was KO doing it too. So it serves its benefit.
Yeah.
To keep it at least somewhat in the conversation.
And they did on, even though he hadn't been released yet, they, in the Firefly Funhouse thing they did with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt, he said something about, like, his family being taken from him again, or something about his family.
Yeah.
Or how he used to have a family is what he said. And they did, like, a real brief flash where they showed the Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and
Right.
Daniel Bryan when he was
yeah.
part of the group. So I don't think that. I was just kind of wondering, like, because you wonder, like, oh man, like, I hope they don't not talk about him. But I will say with someone like Luke Harper, we'll get to the others as well. You mentioned something, and I think this is someone that we maybe didn't always click with. I feel like you weren't always super sold on a Luke Harper.
I liked Luke Harper more than Rowan, but I don't think they ever got fully over the way they wanted to. And even now, I feel like they're pissing away the Rowan push big time with all these weird squash matches.
with the cage?
Yeah,
You don't like the cage?
I like the cage idea.
You like the cage idea?
I'm like, what's in there? We don't know. But like the squash matches around it are just annoying the crap out of me that he's fighting. So the local competitor or whatever. So that kind of stuff. So when you look at Luke Harper, I always think he had the opportunity or had the ability. It just was never the booking just never really worked.
That's how I always felt with it too. I always felt like he was one of the people on the roster who had the most potential to be a main eventer that never got given that opportunity. I feel like because Strowman was a lot bigger and because Wyatt was a lot more charismatic, he never got the same shine as the others. I think that I don't know what it was. I've never understood it. I've always thought that maybe it was because of his weird, like, gross beard.
Yeah.
Not that it's bad. I think it's cool.
Right.
I also have I wish I had that kind of beard. It'd be cool. But you always hear the stories about Vince not liking beards, and he had the gnarliest one of the group. Like, the other ones at least have, like, a maintained beard to a certain degree. To a certain degree. But Luke's was wild.
Right.
And I think that, I don't know why, I always wonder if that played a part. I always was under the impression, I think we've talked about on the recap shows, that I was always under the impression that if he just shaved it off, went full babyface, that he would have been a main eventer a la JBL.
Maybe.
I was always under that impression. However, I do think that he is someone who's similar to a Jon Moxley will feel reinvigorated on the independent scene. And let's be honest, probably AEW. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, there's pictures of Jericho and Luke Harper backstage on the European tours together.
Right.
I believe even in his goodbye, Cody mentioned Luke Harper or something along those lines. So, like, let's not be silly here.
Yeah.
And also, he's an amazing talent that has size, which is something they desperately need in AEW right now. They need more big guys that just are that look like big pro wrestlers, So, to me, it seems like a shoo-in. You'd obviously want to see him there too, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think they make the best use of him too. And like you said, they need big guys. The storylines are there for him to walk into. And who knows? Maybe he's on Jericho's side. Maybe he's not on Jericho's side. But the fact that he has that connection with Jericho works so well at whatever storyline you're going to go down with him. I think he's great. He's a big dude. And the thing is, like sometimes they just can't book you right for whatever reason, because it's always all these other wrestlers and all these other storylines. You got to find a way to you to work.
Well, also,
and then if they don't, then you move on to the next thing. And if AEW, it's a different situation, different set of factors, it could work.
I also think that the difference in WWE that people forget is, like, it's one guy's vision. Like, it's one man's vision.
Fair point.
You know what I mean? And if that one man doesn't necessarily see you in the role that like everybody else does.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what anyone else tells him. Like, I'm sure there are people that I'm trying to think of a good director. I'm sure there are people that go to Quentin Tarantino all the time, and they're like, hey, man, this guy's really good. Like, you
Right.
should use this girl. This girl's great. And he's like, no, I love Uma Thurman. I want to put Uma Thurman in this movie, you know?
Or I'll organically feel that person is right when they're organically right for what I want. Until then, they're just sitting on the sideline.
They're sitting there.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Quentin Tarantino. You
Yeah,
know, like, you're going to
exactly.
be in my movie if I want you to be in my movie. It's kind of like when I watched The Irishman, and there were so many famous, I shouldn't say so many, but there were a couple, not like A-list celebrities, but there were a couple pretty famous people in very tiny roles that had like the most minor role in the movie, and I was like, man, how'd they get that? And I was like, oh yeah, it's Martin Scorsese.
Right.
Someone just wants to work with Martin Scorsese so that the next time when he has a movie, he's like, no, I need that person for the big role who helped me out for that one pivotal scene that helped me out a lot, like Anna Paquin. And,
Yeah, exactly.
And the girl from Orange is the New Black too, where I was like, oh, I know that. And the other guy, what's his name? Who played Chuck in the movie? Did you see it already? You did, right?
Yeah, of course.
What's his name? The guy who was in Breaking Bad too.
I don't know.
What's his name?
Not Giancarlo Esposito, not Aaron Paul.
No. He wasn't one of the. He was the bad guy on Breaking Bad. That was like the one who locked up Aaron Paul. Who? You know, the redhead guy. I'm gonna look
Who
up
does he
his
play
name
in the movie?
He's the guy. I forget his. Hold on.
Who is he in the movie?
He's-
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Thank you.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons.
That's driving me crazy.
Right. He's
I always
driving the
forget
car.
that guy's name. Yeah, he's driving the
Yeah,
car. But
yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, that's such a small role
It
for him,
is.
and he's in like lots of big stuff.
Right,
And
but it's
I was
Scorsese.
Like, but yeah, it's a Martin Scorsese thing. So
Right.
I think it's very similar on those lines. So it does appear that AEW has more cooks in the kitchen, so
Right,
to speak,
right.
where they're giving a little bit more freedom to their talent to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So I do wonder, like, what Luke Harper can do when given the opportunity to do something. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
because before in WWE, it was like, it's someone else's vision, like I was saying, you know?
Right.
You do what that guy says. You know, I even saw a thing with TJP where he was talking about what it's like to wrestle in the ring in WWE and how much they're telling you to do what to do via the referee during the match. Like, not just going over in the back. Yeah, it'll blow your mind. 'Cause I
bet it
remember
would.
you thought that it was pretty
that the rest was
free flowing.
Yeah.
No.
And the referee only calls it when it's supposed to end.
It was literally like
Wow.
TJP was saying in his thing, at least, and obviously it differs with talent,
Of course.
trustworthy,
And experience,
trust
right,
level
right.
experience. But he was saying in his matches, like, it would be down to like lay it in now more punches, tossing a headlock, it was like literally referee calling out spots during the match, and this was on the main roster, like, you know. So I was like, man, that's crazy. So I wonder with a guy like Luke Harper, when given the freedom, what he can do now, because he already had success on the indies prior to WWE. Sure. So I do feel like with the immense amount of experience that he's gained over the past couple of years, I'm very interested to see what his version of himself as a wrestler is now.
Right.
And similarly, you know, Sin Cara. I think Sin Cara is a real interesting one. You know, Sin Cara is the second Sin Cara.
Right.
But he's technically, I think, the first Sin Cara.
Okay.
Because
he got injured, right? And then the...
Okay, cool. Yeah. I just got the email I needed. I was waiting for that. I may have this wrong, but someone said that in Mexico, I was talking about it over the weekend, that in Mexico, he was the original Mystico.
Okay.
Then Caristico, the guy who is now Caristico, became Mystico. Right. Then Mystico got signed, so they changed him to Sin Cara.
Okay.
But still had the same look.
Right.
Then they signed the guy who was the original Sin Cara, who became Hunico. And then when Sin Cara 1 didn't work out, they made Hunico Sin Cara 2.
Right.
But technically, and I didn't realize the reason he was always so okay with it, because he was actually technically Sin Cara 1.
The first Sin Cara.
Which I was like, man, that blew my mind. So I feel like Charlie in that gif where he's like putting all the things on the wall, connecting all the lines or whatever. So Sin Cara also requested his release.
Right.
He posted a thing, I think it was last month or the month before, where he said that he had requested his release, was feeling underused. And this came right after they were seemingly giving him a little more to do on TV.
With Andrade and stuff, yeah, exactly.
And they had that Catalina character they had brought up.
Right.
Even though they still lost once they brought that Catalina character up.
Right.
But I mean, it's funny that they switched him into a feud with Humberto Carrillo now,
Yeah.
too. I was like, okay, we'll swap those two. But what do you think about this? Because Sin Cara is like 40. He's 42 years old.
Yeah.
How old is Luke Harper? I didn't even look that up.
Harper must be in his late 30s or mid 30s.
39, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll find success still on his own back on the indies? Because the thing, to me, that's the biggest question mark here is a lot of times when you leave WWE, you become worth more, or your value goes up, or you become more desirable because of your face. Your face was on TV.
People know you.
People know you.
So they can book you.
They can book you because people know you.
Right.
It's kind of hard to do that with a guy who doesn't own the gimmick. He definitely doesn't own it outside of WWE because Caristico does.
Right.
I wonder, how he markets himself going forward to kind of take advantage of it. Does he be Hunico? Because I don't think Hunico is it's so long gone from TV too.
Yeah, fair point. I wonder what he does. I wonder if he goes back to Mexico, goes back to that, and kind of goes back there for 6 months or a year, rebuilds the brand, rebuilds the knowledge, has a couple of really incredible matches. Because the Sin Cara brand coming out of WWE isn't remember this great match from Sin Cara? There's no memory of any great match at a pay-per-view with Sin Cara. Yeah, maybe there's a couple of ones from
There's
Raw
some good
SmackDown.
There's good matches,
Certainly.
but yes, his main legacy would be the guy who was Triple H's big international project, his big first international signing when he took over his new role, and they brought him to TV, and it just was not. People didn't like it. He failed. He botched moves.
Yep. It just didn't get over overall.
And this is the different Sin Cara too, which is also what muddles all of this.
Yeah, exactly. There were two different Sin Caras, which it's really tough for the fans. The fans, first of all, WWE fans rarely embrace a luchador. And so if you're going to do two different versions, you're asking them to do too much. You're asking them to keep track of too much on this whole situation. So that was a negative, I think. It was always a negative towards him. And sometimes you just can't recapture that feeling of invincibility or the fact that you could be a formidable opponent if you don't go on a run. If they don't give you a push, you're not going to recapture that. So to me, I think he's making the right move moving away. I think go down, kind of build yourself back up and then swing back into the indies. And yeah, maybe it's a new character. There's nothing that says you can't become a new character, go into AEW as a luchador, crashing the situation, and then take it full advantage. Maybe he's wanted to do more. Maybe he's had ideas to do a new character or do something more with Sin Cara, and then now he's going to get a chance to do it. So we'll see, because I think it's always a combo of the wrestlers' ideas and the wrestlers' ingenuity and the people above them who are allowing them screen time or whatever. You've got to show that you're willing to roll with the punches, have ideas, blah, blah, blah. I'm learning that in this business, and also as I'm watching wrestling more and more over the years. It's you got to come up with all this kind of stuff, because everyone's going to tell you no, because there's 30 other people who want that spot. So you got to constantly be reinventing and thinking of new ways to do it and pushing and willing to take the rejection, or else you're not going to get there.
Yeah, it's tough. No, absolutely. I was going back to that TJP AMA he did on Reddit. He kind of had a similar thing where he was I tried. He was I really did. I would go to Vince. People say they're scared of Vince. I'd go right up to him, hey, I wanted this. I would pitch him ideas. Yeah. He then said, go tell me how you can become valuable to us. I went. I started doing all these outside projects where I was doing Filipino outreach types of, because he's Filipino and he wanted to become the Filipino wrestler for WWE. Right. He feels like a lot of cultures were represented, but the Filipino culture wasn't, and so he started going to do kind of that stuff so that he could come back as being Filipino as part of his gimmick. And he came in and pitched, and it was just we can't figure out anything. We can't figure out. We're not sure how to get you to fit in. Right. And eventually they were go ahead, let him loose or whatever. Yeah. But you're 100% right. It's tough. It's tough, especially someone who has a mask. I was the same person I was talking to this about mentioned to me, that it is hard when your full face is covered to connect with the audience. Right. Rey Mysterio, you see his face still. You see his mouth, you see his eyes.
The distinct eyeballs.
You see it, and you can feel what he feels. Yeah. But it's real tough for an audience to connect with a Mexican with a masked wrestler. Right. The Mexican audience is much more used to it because it's part of the culture, the lucha culture. But it is tough for the American audience. And lastly, in the releases, I wanted to talk about the Ascension as well.
Finally. No, but I mean, because they've messed this up for so long since they came up from NXT.
You mean WWE?
Yes. And so to me, I'm happy they're gone so they can go and be happy someplace else. Because I think these guys coming out of NXT were like going to be powerhouses, and they didn't quite make it work. They fumbled the ball.
They fumbled it from day
one. Right. And this is the test case.
They were like
of what not to do.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, they were, like you said, they were like a thing
Yes.
in NXT. People were like, they had the crowd into them, and they were not like a joke thing where like an Adam Rose or a Bo Dallas. They were serious bruiser dudes, and they got brought up, and they were just like, who are these Road Warrior ripoffs?
Right.
Who do they think they are? A Demolition, you know? And then they had every single legend beat them up at the same time.
Yeah.
And then just never got used. They were just like barely used after that ever again. That was 2015.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
That's crazy.
It's mind-blowing to me that
Might even be 2014.
They were still on the roster for this long already. Like, that's the thing. At the end of the day, there's only so much you can do when you're in this business and you're not getting the opportunities to show what you can do and get over and whatever. If you can't, and they don't give you the opportunity to get over, and they book you in these weird storylines. Look at Gallows and Anderson, right? For just a brief moment, it was Gallows and Anderson again, and now it's back down again. And it's like, damn, this is what happens. So, like, getting away from the WWE, which I've been saying, I think, on our recap shows for a year now, was in the cards, thank God. So I hope they go someplace either single or together and, you know, kind of come back up again. You know, we'll see. But they all can't go to AEW. So I don't know where they're going to go.
You know, like I said, Luke Harper's got to be going to AEW.
Right.
Let's be honest. Sin Cara.
Right. I don't see that.
I don't see that. Like you said, Mexico, maybe Impact.
The Indies.
I was going to say the Ascension seemed pretty ripe for Impact.
Yeah,
they seemed like that would be a good
sense.
spot for them.
Yeah.
But then I remembered that they were part of a thing with Stardust for a while. Remember, like they had that whole Cosmic Wasteland?
Jesus,
and they were like, for a good period of time, they weren't paired with Cody. And I don't know how much swing he has, but similar to Luke Harper, they are two big guys.
Yeah.
The only thing is, there's a lot of spooky factions and tag teams in AEW at this point. It's the Butcher and the Blade. There's the Dark Order.
Right.
There's Darby Allin. Like they're starting to rack up.
Yeah.
Pentagon Jr. You know there's starting to be a lot of them, and the Nightmare Collective. So I do wonder if like maybe they might not bring them in because it's like, well, we already have a spooky division. You know, we don't need to further bolster that right now.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, they might be looking to reinvent themselves too, and maybe that's not what they're looking to do. Also, like you said, they might be splitting up. Like that was a WWE thing, the Ascension, but they were the Ascension for a long time. Going into NXT. Well, not like when they got signed, but they were in FCW, the Ascension or whatever. And that's when like Bram was part of the group and Shal Guerrero and Ricardo Rodriguez. I wonder if they're gonna try and like make a stable on the indies and like make Ascension a thing like again.
Yeah.
I don't know. These are questions I have. But I mean, I agree with you that, you know, they were never using them.
No.
They didn't even put them in the video game this year.
Wow.
Which shocked me. Like, Jamie and I were talking to each other, Jamie I do Wrestling Sheet Radio with, we both were talking to each other like, that's a bad sign when they're just like looking to cram as many people in the games as possible. They probably have an old character model of you and they still didn't put you in the game. The only thing I'm wondering, and this would be the most LOL WWE 2K moment, is I'm still playing the game for some reason, and because everyone hates it. It's bad.
It's a shame.
It's bad.
Because I mean, when I saw the discount for 50% off, I was like, oh, maybe I'll get it because I haven't bought it in a few years. And then I saw all the comments on Twitter, and I was like, oh no,
buy
I'm not
2K19.
going near this.
Buy 2K19 if you're gonna buy one. You know what?
It's a shame because it's such a great promo for it.
I shouldn't say that actually because if you're looking to hop back in, this is not the game to do it with.
Okay, then.
If you're a diehard, like you buy all the games, there's things to enjoy about it.
Right.
I personally am enjoying certain aspects of the game. The main issue I have right now is it does crash a lot. They tried to fix things with a patch, but like if I do all created stuff, like a tag team match, so 4 created wrestlers in a created arena, game shuts down. If I try to do the entrances, it just crashes. That's the biggest problem for me. So I've been doing the bump in the night thing where it's like basically it's like a swamp. It's like I'm trying to think the best way of doing it. It's like a storyline mode that's revolved around Bray Wyatt's swamp, basically.
Okay.
And there's other fun versions of wrestlers like Zombie Randy Orton, or no, he's a snake. It's like Zombie Sami Zayn and stuff like that. And then there's like Frankenstrowman and fun characters like that. But the next one, they're teasing the next one now, and it says something about the next DLC revolves around the Wasteland.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my God, did they save the Ascension to be part of a DLC for some reason that's built around one of these 2K originals? And then they got fired right before the pack goes out? I was like, that would be classic WWE 2K right there.
Do you think they asked for the release because they have something on the horizon?
I don't think they asked for the release.
Oh, you think they just released them?
I think they just released them.
Okay, because you were saying Harper asked for it.
Harper, Sin Cara asked for their releases.
Okay, but Ascension they just got released.
I think their Ascensions got released.
Okay,
yeah, I don't think they requested that. Another thing that happened this week is that Roode and Primo Colon were suspended this week for violating the WWE wellness policy. Honestly, the thing that I found most interesting about this is the fact that Primo Colon hasn't been on TV in like a year.
Yeah.
And has been working in Puerto Rico for another federation, for his father's federation, for months now. I found it strange that they even tested him since they're not even using him. Isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, I think so too. I don't understand the point. What were we trying to figure out?
What are you suspending him from?
Yeah.
I guess he's not getting paid for 30 days?
Yeah.
Is that really going to hurt him
When
that
were
much?
you testing it?
That's what I was wondering. Like, when was he around to get tested?
Was he just randomly showing up? And Primo, how do you not know not to be doing that stuff around the time when you're going to get tested randomly by the WWE?
Well, it is randomly.
Yeah, once when you show up.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying. If I'm showing up, if I haven't been used to WWE, I've been to Puerto Rico in 6 months, and they go, come on in, we got to talk to you, I'm not doing any drugs or anything like that, or any porn videos, so that when I show up, they don't automatically ask me to test. Because I would think logically, they're going to try to release me or get rid of me or something. So you want to be prepared so you don't give them an excuse.
I love that we're on the same wavelength of like when someone says something like, hey, can you come meet for this thing, we both instantly think the worst.
Of course.
Like, oh man, they're gonna fire me. I gotta make sure I get everything in order here. You know?
I'm telling you. Every time I get called into Mark's office, I'm like, oh, am I all right? Am I sure I've got everything in motion?
I like how I feel like we're similar in that aspect too. Like when we get called into a meeting like that we think if we ask that right away, it'll maybe throw them off, and they won't say something bad.
Right.
No, everything's good. That's never gonna work.
Yeah, no.
But I know that because I also always do that. It'd be like, oh, am I in trouble or something? You know?
Right.
And like, no, everything's fine. But literally every time it's like, hey, can we talk for a second? I'm instantly like, oh, am I in trouble? Did I do something bad? Did I say something wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, it makes sense now why Robert Roode was kind of written off television.
Yeah.
He had that match with Roman Reigns, and then they just dumped the table on top of him, and then they said he was stretchered away. Yeah, I think that, it's their first wellness policy violation, both of them.
Right.
So not too much consequence. Then there's really no info on what they got suspended for or anything like that.
Is there ever official info from the WWE when someone gets suspended? Because it wasn't Randy part of the wellness thing as well. Didn't he get suspended for the wellness thing? I thought.
But didn't they
at
say
some point down the road?
I want to say they've said if it's weed before.
Okay.
I
don't know.
I could certainly be wrong, but I want to say that for marijuana they have said it before.
Okay.
But that could be so wrong, and I could be totally off. Also, I'm so pissed, Rocha. Did you see this message we just got?
No.
There's pizza in the office for everyone.
What?
It's gonna be gone in 30 minutes. So by the time we get out of here,
Maybe we should go out one at a time.
I like that Rocha's thinking like me, like, well, fuck, I don't miss his pizza.
Just you vamp, and go. You vamp, I'll go, and then I'll vamp, and you
grab one of the boxes and run back in here. No one will notice.
Not a bad idea.
On SmackDown this week, they announced that we're getting The Miz against Bray Wyatt at TLC, but not The Fiend. We're getting Bray Wyatt this time. Sweater Boy, Firefly, Funhouse, Bray Wyatt. It does not appear to be a Universal title match. It appears to be the two of them wrestling. This one seems to be personal between the two of them. Personal. You rolled your eyes, though, when I mentioned that it's Bray Wyatt and not The Fiend.
Yeah.
Who
wants to see Bray Wyatt? You want to see The Fiend.
I actually really want to see Bray Wyatt.
Really?
Yes.
But didn't Bray Wyatt lose all the time? That's why he became the Fiend?
We haven't seen Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt.
Okay, so it's the first match of Bray Wyatt, right, as Firefly Funhouse?
Yes.
He hasn't even done any dark ones like this.
No.
All right. Does it excite you?
To me, hold on.
Okay.
We'll pause on the
all right, two
person
separate
at the gets.
conversations. Fair enough.
Exactly. Does it excite me? Yes, because I feel like as cool as the Fiend is, which he's on. To me, it's one of the coolest things in wrestling right now. There's just so much thought put into it. It's so unique. It's just I love it. But I do fear that because it's getting so over and because they're putting out so much merch for The Fiend and because people are liking it, wrestling fans tend to turn on the thing they all like. They tend at a certain point, it seems to happen where suddenly they're like, now I hate this thing because clearly Vince McMahon loves it. Well, it's like, well, he likes it because you all liked it, you know? But I feel like in order to maintain the unique nature of The Fiend, you had to bring Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt into the mix outside of the videos, outside of the whole backstage thing, strictly because the attacks from The Fiend, you know, where he brought Bray Wyatt or where he brought Daniel Bryan under the ring, they're cool. But if you do it too much, it's gonna start to feel like we know WWE.
Yeah,
they start to like. They drive it home. They drill it in like they won't stop. I feel like this at least makes it so there's a little bit of more time between when we see The Fiend. And that way it is more special when we see The Fiend. But unlike Brock Lesnar, we still get Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
We don't have to have a vacant champion until a big event comes up. He's still there.
It's weird that Bray gets to carry the strap.
Well, he's got the Fiend's
because The Fiend is the champion.
Well, they have separate belts.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like Bray Wyatt wasn't in that fight. It was The Fiend.
You saying that made me wonder if, because I was already wondering this in my head, if they're gonna have Bray Wyatt bring the title to the ring, or if it's trapped in the Funhouse.
Oh, good point.
Because it's not a title match,
right?
So I was wondering that too myself.
We start down this road. You know where the logical conclusion is if we start down this road.
What is that?
It's Bray Wyatt versus The Fiend to unify the both belts.
Oh, don't put that idea out there.
You know that's the logical conclusion.
If that happens in 5 years from now, I'm okay. But we got a long way to get there before The Fiend has to be vanquished by Bray Wyatt himself.
You better hope it's only 5 years. Next year, I guarantee you.
I think that using Firefly Funhouse Bray was a good idea.
Yeah.
I hope that he has a tiny bit different of a moveset. I almost hope he's a little bit gentler to a certain degree because that version has almost seemed passive-aggressive to a certain nature. We saw him fight Seth, but to a certain degree, he's been pretty passive, I feel like.
Does he disappear and become The Fiend under the ring? The red light.
It's a good idea.
That's what I wonder about.
But I would like them to have one match as at least one where he's Bray Wyatt, so we can see what Bray Wyatt thinks of it at least.
Because people might get mad at me for this, but it feels to me like Eugene, where Eugene would fight. And then when Gene finally got mad, it'd be like this other person would come out.
Like Luke Gallows when you snap or whatever.
Right, exactly. So
what was his name back then? Festus?
Festus? So yeah, right.
The ringing the bell, not snapping.
So you have this could be possibility with The Fiend. Like he's losing the match to The Miz, and all of a sudden he goes under the ring, the lights go red, comes back out, he's The Fiend, and he kicks the shit out of
It's not a bad idea.
Miz. I imagine that seems the logical idea.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because if they're both people.
If he's nice, and if he's nice the whole time and like being passive, like why would you want to hurt me?
Yeah.
And then I'm into that. I'm into that idea because I like the whole Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde aspect of the Firefly Funhouse Bray and The Fiend. So I actually am into that idea.
Okay.
Are you looking forward to TLC?
I am. I don't think the lineup is as strong as I was hoping, but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah,
certainly. I mean, they earned. The last pay-per-view, the last two, the NXT and the WWE, I enjoyed both of them. Mm-hmm. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
So I hope this one is just as fun, and I have a good time with it because I think the matches could be brutal. So that's what excites me. Talk about TLC, I want to see some really incredible bumps.
Yeah, yeah. You want to see those pedigrees off the Hell in a Cell?
Yeah, so maybe one day.
Well, we saw that one move. Now that Rook and I are sitting here, since you mentioned Takeover War Games, when Ciampa did did.
Oh my God.
What's that move called?
Is it the Hangman? Or something like that?
No, but you guys, when he did the move off the cage at War Games that Nova used to always do, I laughed because it was the closest thing I've seen, because it was like through a table from the top of the cage, and I thought to myself, that's the closest thing we're gonna see to a pedigree from the top of the cell. And a bunch of people started tweeting me like, see, the pedigree off the top of the cell is possible when it happened. So I got a kick out of that. Liv Morgan had a makeover teased during Raw. She's been gone. We talked about Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse, and there's been tons of speculation that she was going to be joining the Firefly Funhouse, that she was going to be Sister Abigail. She was posting these dark she's posting some dark seeming videos and stuff on pictures on social media where like she was just crying in the rain, or where she seemingly dyed her hair black and was in like a Wednesday Addams outfit. So I think there was some speculation that maybe she was going to be joining SmackDown, but it's not happening. She's staying on Raw. That's why she was moved there. I was actually told last week that they have plans for her still. But then it ended. They show this vignette for her, and then it ends with them saying that prepare for the makeover of Liv Morgan.
Usually they just make you over. They don't tease it.
Remember
right?
Emelina?
Oh right, yeah.
Because
and how did that work out?
Yeah.
That was not a positive.
And I did see a lot of people make that connection where it was like, are you guys just trying to redo what you did with Emelina? Because remember with Emelina, it was like, the makeover is coming. The makeover is coming. And they teased that for 2 months or whatever. Right. I hope they're not going that route. You know what I actually think they're doing?
What's that?
I think that she was maybe preparing for Dark Liv Morgan.
Okay.
And that they're just going to go, they're not adding her to the Funhouse. But I'm almost wondering if it's going to be like a reverse Funkasaurus type situation. Remember when they were promoting that Tyrus was going to be, or Brodus Clay was going to be coming to Raw?
Yeah.
And they had all these things where it seemed like he was going to be this tough monster. And then when he came out, they played that disco music, and he's doing the whole Funkasaurus thing. I almost feel like they're doing a reverse situation of that. And they're doing these colorful Liv Morgan, the makeover, as if she's going to be this girly girl.
Right.
And the makeover is going to be dark. And and that's why it's looking all bright colored and stuff, because they're trying to swerve the fans a little bit.
But wasn't she dark before she left? Wasn't she?
No, she had the pink hair.
Right, but I mean she was a heel.
She was a heel.
So
I more so mean dark hair, dark vibe.
Okay.
Not happy-go-lucky Jersey girl that she was.
Like Paige or something like that.
Almost.
Like a goth kind of thing.
Almost.
Okay. I could see that. I think she's an incredible talent. She's a young wrestler as well. And you see what all these young wrestlers do in NXT, the young female wrestlers, and you're like, you can't figure this out with Liv? You got to get something. So
she was part of all that, too, for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm glad that they're figuring out that they've got something to do for her. Because I'll tell you one more thing about War Games. Candice LeRae needs to get the hell out of NXT and get up into the main roster already. She took bumps like I've never seen someone with her physical body take and keep coming. And I love that. And so I want to see what she can do at the top now with that, because she can take bumps like crazy.
Oh, she's one of my favorite wrestlers.
I thought Bianca was trying to murder her during the ring. It was so scary, some of those things he put her in.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ. So
I feel like she's staying in NXT.
Yeah, you think she's just one of those lifers there?
I think she's
like Gargano.
I feel like Ciampa, Gargano, Candice are staying in NXT.
They're we're good.
They're like, we're good. Yeah, exactly. They're like, we're good. We like what we got going here. We're very comfortable here.
Be released.
Don't need to go deal with that pressure or very comfortable here.
I've made it work, budget-wise.
Yeah, I did Royal Rumble, we're cool, because Ciampa said that he told WWE that he won't, that he'll retire.
Yeah.
So, if they try and move him. So,
I respect that.
Yeah.
You know what you're good at.
Yeah. So you're looking forward to Liv Morgan?
Yeah, I'll see what it does. If it falls flat on its face, then I don't know what you do. That's the thing. That's the terrible thing about these makeovers or these promos to show you that someone's going to change or be different. That it has a tendency to fall apart and not do well. It can really hurt a wrestler and hurt their brand. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm also going to reserve judgment here because I'm a huge Liv Morgan fan. Yeah. So I'm just happy that they're going to be doing something with her.
What happens to Logan? Is she kind of...
Sarah, I know. She's been on Main Event all the time. I've been wondering, too. They didn't do anything with her.
Yeah.
And Ruby Riot's obviously injured. So.
Right.
Yeah, I've been wondering that myself. I'm a Liv Morgan stan though, Rocha. So
I know what that means now.
Yeah, I know Rocha used that to me in a text message the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, go you, Rocha." Batista and the NWO, they're going into the WWE Hall of Fame. What's that reaction for?
That's weird. It's just weird.
Which one?
Between the two of us, as the resident NWO fan, it is very weird to go into the WWE Hall of Fame and not the WCW Hall of Fame.
Well, that doesn't exist, Rocha.
I know it doesn't exist, but who better to be a charter member this side of Ric Flair and the Horsemen than the NWO
Well,
to
Sting
start?
went in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Sting, true. To
Sting
start
went in the Hall of Fame.
a WCW Hall of Fame. But
once Sting went in, you
Right.
you can't make that argument
I know.
anymore.
And I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
It just feels weird. But I'm happy, very happy, and I hope they do it right.
What's doing it right?
Don't denigrate them. Don't throw them up again. Don't put no DX crap on it. Let the NWO live on its own and be praised on its own for what it was, because it is one of the most incredible things that have ever happened, and it changed the face of wrestling. I think it's one of the top 10 seminal moments ever in the history of wrestling, from the beginning to now.
Yeah.
Is the creation of the NWO, and I mean the three of them.
Yeah.
Although I appreciated the jokes about everybody going in it. That was funny as hell. I was laughing so hard at that, man.
Yeah, I saw CM Punk say the same thing on backstage last night, where he's like, this Hall of Fame will stay illegitimate if you don't put in every single member of the NWO. He's like, I want to see VK Wall Street up there and stuff.
Who's the dude? Buff and the stuff. Buff Bagwell.
Buff Bagwell.
Is he gonna get in there? Scotty Steiner. I'm happy. But Batista's weird. This kind of means that Batista's not coming back, right?
He's already retired.
This kind of closes the door forever, though, right? Because
he retired.
He always says, and then he comes back.
No, he's never actually retired.
Oh, I
This
see.
is the first time he's retired.
Okay.
No, he was waiting for that Triple H match. He got it. He's retired. So this is the end. This is the end.
Okay. Because I thought it was 5. You had to wait 5 years. Am I wrong on that with the Wrestling Hall of Fame?
No.
I always thought you had
There's
to wait.
literally no rules.
All right, fair.
Yeah, no, there's...
Okay.
Because didn't Goldberg go in and then he wrestled the next year?
Yeah,
That was
true.
Backwards, but still.
I think Hogan did that too.
Yeah, there's no
fair
rules. There's
enough.
no
Okay.
rules with the WWE Hall of Fame.
Are you happy about it?
Batista, yes. Like, obviously Batista.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. All right.
No. I was actually, not that I don't think the NWO deserves to go in the Hall of Fame, obviously.
Yeah.
It's they just inducted DX last year, and you would think, like, Batista and NWO are both, like, marquee people that you would maybe want to split them up, maybe, to a certain degree.
Oh, yeah, different years.
Different years.
Yeah.
Save NWO for when they're like in Atlanta or something. I don't know. Like,
good
you know,
points.
I don't know. Save NWO for when they're in Atlanta or whatever. I did think it was like, you know, now, and I obviously a huge X-Pac fan, but X-Pac went in last year with DX. Now he's going in this year with NWO, which is deservedly so, obviously.
Right, of course.
But I was just like, oh, you'd think you'd space those out a little bit so it doesn't seem exactly like last year.
Right. Is Jarrett still on the roster?
Jeff Jarrett?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still, he's working behind the sscenes, not on the roster.
He's not going in.
No, they said it's only
Hall, Nash,
Hogan, and X-Pac.
Okay.
Which is also...
No Bret Hart, no Giant.
Yeah, but see,
Although
okay.
Big Show should go.
I was gonna say,
I feel like
Big
Giant
Show
should.
is one of the very he's also. I think he's
I
like
agree
right
with that.
after X-Pac, and you're like he's there.
I agree. I don't
he
think
was
they're
part of the early days of the group.
If they don't make that turn with him, they're nowhere near as big as the Giant was. A big thing for them to get that really pissed people off. So yeah, I think the Giant should absolutely be part of it.
I'm trying to see if I can find the list of when they joined in order.
Oh wow! If someone did that, that's incredible.
Let's see. List of New World Order members. Oh, there is one.
Oh shit!
See, that's what I thought.
Okay, break it down.
It's Scott Hall, Kevin
Yes.
Nash, Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Then Ted DiBiase, Giant. Wait, no. Wait, I'm reading this wrong. Wait.
It's Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hogan.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, then Hulk Hogan, then Ted DiBiase, then the Giant, then NWO Sting,
Okay.
then X-Pac.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because didn't NWO... Oh, that's the fake Sting, so we're not going to count him.
No, we can't count Fate Sting. I don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah, it's the fake Sting. It's Jeff Harmer or whatever.
Oh,
But
okay.
we'll say Giant, right?
Giant before X-Pac?
Giant before X-Pac.
See?
It says Giant joined on September 2nd, 1996.
Yeah.
Expelled on December 30th, 1996. September. Okay, so maybe they're looking at it as like he was so early and he got ejected so fast that maybe he doesn't count, but he's there.
He's there. He's certainly part of it.
Then it's 6, so
Right.
X-Pac.
Right.
He joined September 16th, 1996, so a couple weeks later.
Yeah. Is it Scotty after that?
Then injured on the 13th of October, 97.
Okay.
And fired in 1998. Okay. So 6 is obviously one of the early ones. I'm not saying that. But then you got a big one that you think you'd want to add. You got Virgil. You got Vincent.
Virgil's huge. Vincent.
This is the one chance you're going to have
to
induct Virgil, a.k.a. Vincent, into the Hall of Fame. Just do it.
Yeah, you got to put him in.
Just put him. Yeah, you got to put him in. Then we got Miss Elizabeth, who joined on September 30th.
Which means Savage wasn't too far behind.
No, he's still a little bit away.
Oh, okay.
Miss Elizabeth, then Bischoff.
Oh, yeah, Bischoff.
You think?
Right.
You'd think.
That's not a bad idea.
Bischoff should have been involved,
he's
too.
essentially the architect of this whole damn thing, so he should be part of it.
I'm guessing that Bischoff inducts them.
Ooh.
Right?
Didn't they just fire Bischoff?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll bring him back to do the intro?
You'd think if they're inducting the NWO, you have to bring... Eric Bischoff has to have some presence at it.
I hope so, but I'll tell you who's going to induct him. I think it's going to be Triple H because of the clique. Those guys are part of the clique. They both they form DX and NWO.
Maybe.
I think it would be Triple H who do it respectfully too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Then we got Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell. Yeah, he's the stuff. Girls can't get enough. And then Michael Wall Street. Then Big Bubba Rogers.
Right.
And then Scott Norton, who also should be part of it. I'm sorry. Scott Norton, get him in there.
Norton certainly got a name off the NWO.
Yeah, dude. Scott Norton for sure, dude.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot after that. We got Masahiro Chono, Randy Savage, Great Muta.
Yeah, Muta.
Muta was NWO Japan, excuse me.
Yep.
So was Chono.
Which was so crazy.
Then we got Conan. But Conan's more associated with the Wolfpack.
So let's ask that question.
No,
they're different. Wolfpack get in?
They're different.
Down the road?
To me, down the road.
Does the Wolfpack get in as Hall of Fame?
Ooh, that's a question.
Right?
That's a question.
Because that's Kevin Nash, rather.
That's Kevin Nash,
Conan.
Randy Savage, Conan, Kurt Hennig,
Lex Luger,
right. Sting, Scott Hall. I think you got to. It's a totally. I don't know.
Right.
I'm so mad that Elijah Bates is not here. If anyone who's been listening to Wrestling Sheet Radio for a very long time knows that he hates the Wolfpack.
Wow.
So he would be, especially Red-Faced Sting.
This would be a fun conversation.
Yeah, he right now would be.
Oh, we'd go back and
through
forth.
the roof at the simple idea of Wolfpack being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I say just induct Red-Faced Sting. He gets a separate induction for his red-faced thing because it was cool. All right, we'll move topics here a little bit. I got two that I want to break in here real fast. Did you watch Alberto Patron losing in the MMA fight?
I was disgusting. And the thing is, and here's what's funny. When him and Tito were going at it the weigh-in, I was like, what are you doing? Albert, what are you... Like, it was almost worse than Punk.
I couldn't even call him Alberto. It was Albert, what are you doing?
Yeah, Albert, what are you doing? Al,
dude.
Because, I mean, like, with Punk, this was an inevitability and kind of like, okay, let's see what's here. But Del Rio actually, or Patron, whatever, Albert has an actual... I'm just going to call him that. Albert has an actual record for an MMA. He's like 5-3 or something like that.
It's not like an extensive record.
No, it's not.
And
he
his
has
big
a record.
fight, he got his ass kicked.
He did, and it was like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I just interviewed Nikki Whelan, who is in this new film called Trauma Center.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki Whelan they were shooting the film while Tito was training for the fight.
Oh, interesting.
So I asked her about it,
Uh-huh.
and she said Tito was so focused on that fight and on the film that he couldn't wait to get in that ring and fight. He was like injury free. He couldn't believe how injury free he was. So when you watch, and I watched that 3 minutes, there was like a minute of them feeling each other out, and then Tito was like, it was like the It Clown. It was like all over him, and it was done.
I laughed too because it was like you could see like Del Rio was all hyped up when it started. He was thinking, he was ready to go.
Yeah.
He like fires in there, and he thinks he's like Ken Shamrock for a second, and he goes in going for the belly-to-belly suplex, and he thinks like, oh, I got this guy. And he goes for he does the belly-to-belly suplex, and then like it was like a Tom and Jerry where like a dust ball happened, and then Tito was on top of him, just punching him in the back of the head. And you're like, oh, that did not work out the way you thought that was going to work out. And then they got up for a second. You're like, oh, is he going to do it? He gets like a punch or two, kind of like tries. Right back down over rear naked choke. Would have been nice if it was a knockout. I was hoping for a knockout, but I'll take submission victory as well.
I think Tito knew he could have knocked him out and just submitted him.
Me too.
I think he knows, like, I don't want to hurt this guy.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that he seemed to kind of go easy on him a little bit there.
Yeah.
Did you think the whole belt aspect of things was ridiculous? How, like, Tito put one of his old UFC belts on the line, and Alberto put his old spinner belt on the line, which is basically two replica titles on the line, and one got to keep them.
Yeah.
I thought it was so dumb. So dumb. Like, at the end, Tito Ortiz was out there, and he's like, he does this whole speech, and he's like, I always wanted to be a WWE champion one day, and that didn't happen, but now I've finally earned the WWE title. And I'm like, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works at all.
That's not how it works in the slightest
Not even close.
bit. Let's get to the last thing here. And that is something that happened on Raw this week. I think it was the biggest thing that happened on Raw.
Okay.
And that was Seth Rollins finally aligning with the AOP. What have you thought about all of this?
It's been a bit of a slower build than I thought. And I think they, sometimes when you analyze, like we used to do the recaps, you'd be like, oh, come on, just get to it already. But you got to understand it's a storyline. So you got to take your time. And you got to make it seem as if he might still be babyface or whatever.
Like last week?
Yeah, like last week. You're like, oh, okay, all right. But like everyone knows it's coming. So when it finally happens, you hope there's a payoff for the wait. And in my opinion, I thought there was an excellent payoff for the wait. The destruction of AOP and then him coming in with that stomp, I was like, this is brilliant. And what's really the most important thing, when you turn someone heel like Rollins, the logic has to make sense. Like what they're saying for why they turned, you have to feel that there is logic here. Even though you don't agree with them, there has to be logic. So to me, I liked that. I believe why he's turning. I believe the reasons that he feels kind of like abandoned by the locker room, abandoned by the fans. He feels like nobody gets it at his level. And especially because off camera, Rollins is a hardcore workout guy. The CrossFit stuff, all that shit, he pushes himself pretty hard. So it's not unbelievable for him to turn that a little bit and be like, no one else works as hard as I do. How come you're not working as hard as I am to be successful?
Yep.
And that's the reason we lost this blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And so to me, it makes all the sense in the world. I like it. And Kevin Owens Rollins is that's just gold. Man.
I completely agree with everything you said right there. I think that you nailed it. I feel the exact same way about it. I thought this was needed. It was badly needed. And I really liked the almost like a slight change from what we normally see where the main character wasn't made to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Owens very clearly saw what was going on here, just like us as the viewers, and continually called it out. Like, no, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not being set up for this. Like, I'm not doing the tag match. I'm not doing this thing where you do a match against them. Like, I'm not stupid. I'm not doing this. It's happening. I know you're here. You know? I like that. And I like that he was always a step ahead of Seth Rollins to a certain degree, where, like, Seth Rollins was clearly trying to set up a heel turn for a few weeks where he was trying to, and Kevin Owens always was ahead of it. And so this time it was like, well, I guess we just got to outnumber him this time. I did laugh on backstage where they were talking about it this week where Booker T mentioned, like, I think it was Booker T who said it. He was like, what kind of car has that seat in the back of it? Like, he was like, where do you get a car that has a spinning seat in the very back of the trunk like that? That's not a thing. Which was a very good point. I thought, I was like, oh, it's a good, I've never really seen one of those before. But yeah, I think that Seth Rollins works best when he's got people behind him, whether it's the Authority or the Shield. It elevates him to a certain degree when, like, he's got people backing him. And I don't know why it is, but I think it adds to his cockiness when he's a heel that you're like, oh, well, he's a heel, but he's got two behemoths behind him. You know, like, obviously those guys are going to beat the shit out of anyone that deals with Seth Rollins, you know? So I like that. I also, like you said, I like when WWE is able to blend reality with fiction. Yeah. And I think that the fictional world character of Seth Rollins and his ascension to what he thought was going to be the top guy in WWE, that the fans were all cheering behind, Monday Night Rollins, and when that didn't happen, I like that they were able to then blend in the reality of like the fans turning on that and making it part of his character to take him back to when he was most popular, and that was with the Authority.
Right.
So I thought it was very well done as well. I like it. I also think that I've said for a while that AOP, in my opinion, had potential. I think this could do wonders for those two guys. I also love that everyone's speaking in different languages to Kayla Braxton backstage.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't know what they're saying ever. And that this week she finally said, like, man, I'm really going to need to get a translator, but can you actually tell me what you just said? That cracked me up. I was dying when she did that. But yeah, I'm glad that we're on the same page with the Seth Rollins situation.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
You've said before that the best Rollins is the heel Rollins.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I am also excited for it. All right, we're out of time here. Rocha's got things to get back to. I've got things to get back to. But Rocha, where can we find you in the meantime until the next time you're on here?
Always find me at The Rocha Says. That's where you can see all the stuff I do. And if you want to talk some wrestling, tweet at me. We'll do it.
Any other shows that you want to promote that you guys do at Collider here?
We're doing I got a Collider Conversations. I got the deep cut that I'm doing there. It's a lot of great conversations, a lot of interesting people in the world of entertainment and what they're going through. So go and do that. And of course, I've got the Geek Buddies, I've got the Top 10, I've got the Cinephiles, all that going on here. And of course, Collider Mailbag and Collider Movie Talk. Boom.
That was a lot of shows right there.
That's not even half.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find the videos of this show and any other video content that we do here at ProWrestlingSheet.com. Search Wrestling Sheet Radio on all the popular podcast platforms to find this show. Make sure you subscribe while you're there. Leave us a rating if you're a nice person. Don't leave a bad one if you're a dick. And same goes for YouTube. Make sure while you're there you subscribe, comment, leave a like or whatever. Do all those things. I appreciate it very much. And also you can find me every once in a while on WWE Backstage. It airs on Fox Sports 1 at 11 Eastern Time, weekly on Tuesdays. All right, that's it. We're done.
Thank you.
Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the sheet.